Hello everyone, welcome back to Case Studies for the BizDoc. This week I'm taking another one of your suggestions and it's WhatsApp. But I'm only going to use WhatsApp to illustrate sequencing. The importance of getting sequencing right when you're building your company or product, and the importance of getting sequencing right when you're building the financial support and investment and capital fundraising of your company. Both of those things are important, and we're going to talk about those through the lens of WhatsApp. So what I'm going to teach you this week is about sequencing, what it is, what it means, and how to do it, and why it's important, and how it can have huge ramifications downstream. Patience, opportunity, luck all play a factor. So let's dive in. WhatsApp. I'm going to dispatch with like the detailed nitty-gritty story of WhatsApp, but talk about the key milestones and how that relates to sequencing, which is the subject. This is what I want to help you understand this week. So Jan Koum and Brian Acton are at Yahoo, and they leave. They leave in 2007. And it's kind of funny, this week my purple pen was like leaking all over the place, and it makes Yahoo look like this melting pile of goo, which I guess is now the official description. You go to Bloomberg, it says Yahoo, a media company that is now a melting pile of goo. And I think that's pretty accurate. Anyway, they leave and they're looking to do some other things. They go to South America to talk about things, and they're looking into, remember this is '07, they're looking into things like, something more that mobile phones could do. Wouldn't it be great to have the status of my friends available to me? Things like that. They hook up with a friend, Alex Fishman, back in the United States in San Francisco, and they're basically living on savings of about $400,000 during this planning stage. Now what's interesting about this, they didn't jump right into business after they left Yahoo. They're spending a lot of time just living on the savings and mulling over and planning and thinking, which is really important. To really plan and think and test your ideas and test your thoughts and challenge them. And they had a friend of theirs that helped it. Well, right along in this time, Apple launches the App Store. And these guys are not dumb. They come from Yahoo. They come from an inventive tech world. And they're like, something? Those apps could be everywhere doing all kinds of things. And what we're talking about, we need to have an app developer to help us build it. So Fishman goes out and he finds through Rent a Coder. Yes, there is such a website, Rent a Coder. And they find this guy, Igor Solomenikov, if I get that right. Although those of you who can remember Young Frankenstein, maybe we pronounce it Igor. But anyway, Igor Solomenikov starts doing the coding for them. They're using savings, and they get to 2009, and it's coming together. In February of 2009, they actually they incorporated in California, so their idea became. So the planning, then they incorporate in '09. So they spent 2 years thinking about it, using savings, rent a coder, get something going. So they didn't just jump in, they were able to do that. And they were actually working with little odd jobs and working with other startups. So in other words, have a real job, have a backup plan while you're using your savings to get going. All this planning stage leads into the bootstrap stage. So when they're out there and they have basically bootstrapped it with savings, then they incorporate in February 2009, and they go out and get F&F. F&F stands for friends and family. So they get a seed round of $250,000. They found 4, 5, 6, something like that as the story goes. Friends, some of which were from Yahoo, where they got them to bring their money together, so they had another $250,000. Because building companies and living isn't cheap. But at the same time, you don't always want to jump in with both feet and just dive. Well, they get it going. And their prototype was having some issues, it was crashing, and at one point they were going to give up. And I think it's as the, whether it's fable or fact, who knows, right around in June, they were like, no, let's stick it out, let's keep going for a couple more months. And toward the end of '09 is when they said, no, wait a minute, let's make a change to the product and let's incorporate status. So as they were planning, now they got this experience with what they're doing, they said, let's go ahead and have status right next to the names of the people so you can find out what's going on. And so, they get going with that, but they did not give up. And they felt like giving up. And had they done that, that would have been bad. So from your planning into your bootstrapping stage, what it says is that there's going to be periods of despair. There's also going to be periods of challenge where you're trying to decide, is this going on too much or should I get going? But they had their sequencing right. Spend a lot of time planning, don't necessarily give up your day job, bootstrap so you can hire your own coder with what you got, bring in seed, friends and family when you got something going. And that's something I believe in. I never believe in bringing in friends and family on day one. I believe on stretching and pushing yourself to get through that planning stage to get something going before you bring in friends and family. So that's the planning in the bootstrap phase, if you will. And from there, you get validation points. One of the big validation points would come when about 18 months later, they found themselves in early 2009, one of the top 20 apps in the Apple Store, which is an amazing achievement. It also caught the attention of Sequoia. And so Sequoia, one of the larger venture capital firms, and now you bootstrapped, you have friends and family, and you have a real product going, and you have some validation points, and you're going off to get your venture capital. And you'll notice, because they had that in their sequencing, they raised $8 million and they only gave up 15% of the company to Sequoia. That is a remarkably small number for some Series A. I've seen Series A's that were 40, 50, 60% to the investor because the investor is bringing a lot of money in. And if we agree that the company's worth $20 million and I give you 10, 20 and 10 is 30, and now my 10 is 1/3 of the 30. That's 33%. That's the way the math works, folks. And I'll do a case study later on finance, or maybe I'll do an entrepreneur class on finance so we can tell you all about that and walk you through that in more detail. But in terms of sequencing, you can see how WhatsApp, Jan Koum, Brian Acton, they got it right because they raised $8 million for 15%. And what that means is Sequoia thought it was worth $45 million pre, plus $8 million, 53 post, and the $8 million is 15% of the 53. There's your simple math. And they're off and running. Well, here you go. This was in April, and in about 2 years later, they then raised their Series B, also from Sequoia, and Sequoia put in $50 million at a $1.5 billion valuation. You're telling me in 2 short years you went from a 53 million post to a $1.5 billion valuation? There's just one word for that. Damn! That's great progress. And you also went top 20 app from 200 million users that you announced in February. Sequoia does the Series B, I think it was in April. And then by the end of the year, you're at 400 million. And that's the end of 13. And you're in your venture stage. You've got validation and your growth, and you're heading toward escape velocity, which is exactly what was about to happen, because in the beginning of 2014, Facebook shows up and buys WhatsApp for $19 billion. Wait a minute, that's like 15 times, in less than a year, the value went up 15 times, 19 billion. There's only one word for that. Damn! Actually, there's a word for that, double damn! Now we have a new one, double damn, because you look at something like that, that's incredible, absolutely incredible. At the time, it was the single largest private company exit of all time. But take a look at the sequencing. This is the way it's supposed to happen. A planning phase, followed by a bootstrap phase, followed by a venture phase, followed by an exit phase. And at each point, carefully not getting ahead of yourselves. One thing that WhatsApp did that I fully believe in, and you don't have to have a $19 billion exit to prove it, is they raise money, and call it luck, call it planning, call it what you will, but this is the way that they raise money in a company-friendly way. You can also raise money in an investor-friendly way, where sometimes you're going out to get money earlier than you need it, giving up more of the company than you want. So as you go through here, we could talk all about what happened after Facebook bought them and the use of security and how that is a fantastic edge that WhatsApp has and really sets it apart. And when you talk about Facebook arguing with the government and Apple arguing with the government about security, and the unfortunate thing that happened out in San Bernardino, the shooting that was out there 2 years ago, and how the US government wanted Apple to help them break the phone so they could see what's inside that. Security is a big concern, but likewise, the reason things like Snapchat, where things disappear, and CyberDust, a Mark Cuban company, now just called Dust, is popular, is because there's no record of what's going on. Well, no record of what's going on is a close cousin to high security, because it's security, so you and I. So the differentiation point on security is, and their wild growth is what gave them to here, because they have product differentiation. But when you look at sequencing from 2007 to 2014, in those 7 years, this is the way sequencing is supposed to work. I'm in a planning stage and I use my own savings and I don't give up my day job. I go to a bootstrap stage where once I've got something to prove to people, I bring in friends for friends and family. I don't give up when my software is crashing because I see the promise, I see the hope. I don't hang on too long. In their case, once they added status and did things, boom, they saw things happening, top 20 app. I then moved to my venture phase where venture capitalists are eager to invest, but I don't have to give up too much at my Series A. I then get follow-ons. In the case of WhatsApp, you or anybody else is not going to see this. Let's face it, this is a 1 in a million shot here. But could you see a Series B where you raise 25 million, 20 million at maybe $100 million valuation? Sure. Right? And now at that point, you'd be giving up another, say, 20%. So the progression would be company friendly, but still having a great opportunity for the venture capitalists to come in and make a return for their investors and their general partners. Lastly, driving a great business with differentiation from the venture stage to exit, whether that's M&A or it's an IPO like recently Snapchat and Twitter did and Facebook did, of course, or you just go up and you get bought like Instagram and WhatsApp did. But that's sequencing, and sequencing is all important. And there are 3 things that are necessary in sequencing. 1, patience. 2, more brains than just yours. Talking to people, talking to trusted confidants, people that know what they're doing, not just a friend. Make friends with people that have walked the path with you, point 2. And then point 3, the truth of your numbers needs to speak loud, because there's going to be a lot of heart that you have in there and a lot of belief that you have into it. And you're not going to be the first entrepreneur that just believes it's going to work. You got to get friends with you who know what they're doing. So make those new friends. So those are the 3 points to always keep in mind when you're talking about sequencing. And I think this is a great study on not only what became a great company, a phenomenal product, giving you and I a communications product with security and all that is, but it's also a great story of sequencing on how the sequencing went in a company-friendly way. And that is this week. And I need my pillow. All right. Well, that was good sequencing there. Good toss. Please subscribe to Valuetainment, the best channel on YouTube and the internet far and wide for entrepreneurial content. Until next time, I'm Tom Ellsworth, and I hope I left you better than I found you.